Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you to both generals for your service and for being here. I want to start, maybe start and end with you, General Cotton. I want to ask you, during your predecessors had some luxuries you don't have. Of course, they had 6 B-52 bases in the northern tier capable of taking off and landing that great big legacy machine. 6 of them between Michigan and Montana. There are only 2 that remain that have the cement, and one, of course, is Minot, which you're more than a little bit familiar with, and the other being Grand Forks. The base in Grand Forks has narrowed the 300-foot wide runway to 150 by moving the lights in, but all the concrete remains. As you look forward, and I was interested in one of your previous answers about LRSO, the importance of LRSO and the legacy systems, particularly in the context of a potential gap. But when it comes to bomber agile combat employment base that we've talked about a few times, how useful would more runway space be for the disbursement of those B-52s and maybe other large aircraft, especially while we still have some of them intact that could be prepared quickly?
Senator Cramer, thank you for the question. And our baby, the Buff, the B-52, I just recently looked at an article that was published on the Air and Space Forces magazine that's showing the testing that's underway for the re-engineering of the B-52. So I'm knocking on wood that everything is going well in regards of SERP and the commercial engine replacement program for that venerable, incredible machine. To your point, you're absolutely right. We used to have numerous airfields throughout the United States of America that could act as dispersal sites for a lot of our strategic forces and weapons. Not permanent locations, but places where you can disperse. Over the decades, that has eroded. Many communities will look and see and say, I don't understand why I have an 11,000-foot runway at my regional airport, and then it's no longer a 11,000-foot runway. So we're looking into it. I'm actually having the commander of Air Force Global Strike take a look at kind of dispersal locations, because now, once again, as we've been discussing, we have 2 near peers. First time in the history of what STRATCOM has had to deal with. So we're looking into that right now, sir, so to answer your question.
No, I appreciate that. And as you know, the folks up in Grand Forks are capable of moving a lot of snow fast, so that 300-foot runway's ready to be deployed. With regard to those 2 near-peer adversaries or threats, China's capabilities, of course, are growing at an unprecedented pace, as you guys have already referenced. And Russia, of course, becomes more unpredictable and dangerous all of the time. Some of the programs that we're relying to maintain that deterrence were created with different threats in mind, obviously, or at least different scales of those threats. And I often joke with Senator King that the reason I accepted the ranking position on the Sea Power Subcommittee was so I could get my hands on the 3rd leg of the triad. But do you think, are 12 Columbia-class submarines enough? I guess that's the bottom line, and I know we have a lot of challenges, but given this threat, particularly from China, are 12 enough?
Senator, thank you for that question. I think it goes back to the original statement that I made in regards to, I think we have to have a conversation and look at force posture. And force posture is all 3 legs of the triad to ensure that we have what we need moving forward into the 30s, 40s, 50s.
Since I have about half a minute left, I do want to ask both of you a really basic question that I know requires just a simple answer. And it's really in response to Senator Warren's line of questioning regarding the budget and unfunded priorities. Do you consider national security as a like-to-have or a must-have in today's threats? General Cotton first, and then General Dickinson.
It's a must-have.
General Dickinson.
It is a must-have.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.